Well, hello. Sorry for that, Zach. Well, hello and good morning, Zach, my man. Welcome back to your check-in, and thank you very much for checking in with me. And I'm sorry to hear that the video that you wanted to upload wasn't really working. Hopefully you didn't really spend too much time on that one, but I very much appreciate that you still then went ahead and recorded at least a very short one. It's very much appreciated, honestly. It was just unlike you that I didn't really see any kind of check-in video on my end, and I know that sometimes life gets in the way. Don't feel pressured. This is one of the main things that I want my athletes to know, that this is not the place to feel pressured. This is not where I'm getting angry or so when you're not checking in with me or so, right? This is the place to help you to feel relaxed, to actually feel more relaxed than if you do things on your own, right? So never really feel pressured, but at the same time, of course, this form of accountability can be very helpful as well. So it has been a little bit of a hectic week, you said yourself. Exams, moving of places, etc., etc. So I can definitely see why this is the case, and I also do believe that then the deload comes at the perfect opportunity and time. Now, the last week you said it yourself about the email. Sorry, also by the way for actually getting back to you a little bit later. Was the weekend? Can always be that on the weekends I reply a little bit later than I want to. But I'm sorry that I wasn't there for you in that given moment, but I really do hope that the message still got to you like on time. And then because of that, I think that right now we can now easily go into the deload week, relax, recover, and really calm down from the kind of exhaustion of the past couple of weeks now. I think it's the perfect opportunity for us to kind of resensitize us, not just in a physical sense, but also in a mental sense, to then be able to push and go for the metabolite block. As far as the metabolite block goes, it's the last part of the scaling phase, where we are then really trying to squeeze out as many things as possible, or as much as possible. That means that we are focusing on higher repetitions, shorter rest times on things such as intensity techniques and higher repetition work. So something like isolate a rows, for example, in the 15 to 20 repetition range, you can easily do only like 1 minute of rest time in between, especially because you're always doing them single arm. So while the other arm is doing the job, the other arm is already taking a rest. When it comes to rest pause, pretty straightforward. You're doing up to 15 or kind of around 15 repetitions. So it could be that it's looking like this: 15, you're resting up to 30 seconds. Then you go for the next set. So it could look something like this, where the fatigue kicks in very rapidly and the performance drops off quite substantially. Don't get too distracted by that. This is absolutely normal to see a progression like this. When it then comes to the supersets, it's basically one set of each and every single movement immediately after each other. So in our case of here, the face pulls and the dumbbell lateral raises is one set of face pulls immediately followed by one set of lateral raises, and then you're resting for a normal amount of like 1 to 2 minutes. Do we have anything else? Oh yeah, the Maya match. So the Maya match is basically very similar to what a rest pauses is. You're aiming for around 15 repetitions for 0 RER. Then you rest up to around 15 seconds though, so like 5 heavy breaths. And then you go for the next couple and consecutive sets. And you do as many sets as needed up until you hit the repetitions that you've accomplished in the first set. So let's just say you're doing like 16 repetitions on the first set, right? Now, all of the next sets should the total amount should equate to 16 reps or a little bit above that. So it could look like this, that you're then doing 8, you're doing, 5 or so, right? And then you're doing, 4, right? This way, and then you end the entire myometric thing, right? The main thing is that you kind of match the first set with then the consecutive repetitions. All right. Other than that, now for the remainder of the deload, we are bringing down. Wait a second. Second half of the deload, first half of the deload, second half. No, we are bringing it down. Of course, we are in a gaining phase. Don't really want to be up here. So like this, and not the other way around. So we keep the calories high on the first half of the deload. Second half of the deload, we're bringing them down to a maximum amount of 2,900 calories, with also a much more higher flexibility in terms of carbohydrates, fats, etc., etc. So that we know that you know this as well. Now, furthermore, when it comes to the cable flies variation into dumbbell variations, for the next mesocycle, I think that doing something like dumbbell variations is not the best exercise in something like a metabolite block. Because dumbbell work, what I found is that there is a point where you then can't really move properly anymore, where it's easier to then grind a little bit more within the cables. All right, so we can easily save that for a later point in time. Last but not least, when it comes to the updated calendar, thank you very much, by the way, for that. I wasn't quite certain of what it was or where it was that you couldn't train. Is it on the cruise, or is it on when you're visiting your grandma? You said one of those you can't really train. I would assume that you can probably train on a cruise. Would be very surprised if you can't. Anyway, give me a little bit of background information around this, and then have a good rest of your deload. Upload some physique pictures, upload some girth measurements. You said also that you wanted to upload then some form videos. Send them over whenever you can and find the time for it. Other than that, Zach, I guess I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.